Have you ever found yourself recording a conversation on your phone just so you can listen to it later and prove to yourself that you aren't losing your mind? Or maybe you've scrolled through some old text messages, not to reminisce, but to verify a date or a fact that someone else insists never happened? If that's you, you aren't forgetful and you aren't sensitive. You are likely in the middle of a gaslighting cycle. I'm Barbara Duchnowski, a licensed clinical social worker and owner of New Leaf Psychotherapy, LLC, and survivor myself. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on how gaslighting actually works, not just as a buzzword, but as a systemic psychological tactic. And I'm going to show you how to use your own body to start trusting your eyes again. And that will be a beautiful thing for sure. So, phase one, I call this the seed of doubt and the kitchen floor. So, what is this all about? Gaslighting doesn't start with a big lie, it starts with a seed of doubt. In the beginning, the person gaslighting you likely put you on a pedestal. They made you feel so good, so special. They built a foundation of trust because you believe that they have your best interests at heart. Why wouldn't you? When they first say the words, "I never said that," you must have misheard me. Oh, you believe them. Why wouldn't you? You think, oh, I must have been tired, or I can be forgetful sometimes here and there. Now, in my office, I often hear about what I call the kitchen floor moment, and this is not a very pleasant moment. It's that moment when you're sitting on the floor, maybe crying, maybe just staring at the wall, and you are literally rehearsing a conversation in your head. You're trying to find the perfect combination of words to make them understand, to hear you, to better communicate with them. And you think, if I just explain it logically, if I show them the receipt, they'll see it. But here's the clinical truth. You cannot logic someone out of a position they didn't logic themselves into. When you are on the kitchen floor, you aren't fighting for the truth. You are fighting for your own sanity. If you find yourself over-explaining basic facts to a grown adult, that is your first sign that the cycle has taken hold. It can be extremely confusing. Now, to understand how this dynamic plays out in the real world clinical context, let's look at a common scenario involving financial gaslighting. One of the most frequent kitchen floor moments. I hear this one or something like it quite often. Imagine you noticed $500 withdrawn from your joint checking account that you didn't authorize, you didn't know about, have no idea what's going on here. You have the bank statement right there in your hand, the receipt, hard copy. Hard copy, it's paper, it's real, you could touch it. And the logical approach, of course, would be you go to your partner and you say, "Hey, I saw a $500 withdrawal on Tuesday. Can you tell me what is that for? What's that about?" Now, the response you'll get, the narcissistic response would be, instead of an answer, they will say something like, "Why are you tracking me? You've always been so paranoid and controlling over money. This is exactly why I feel like I can't breathe in this house. It's you." Huh? What just happened? Now, because you're a rational person, you think they just misunderstood your intent. You move into high detail mode. Okay, it must be the way I'm communicating. So you want to prove you aren't being controlling. "No, I'm not tracking you. I just saw it because I was paying the electric bill and I saw it and Look here in this statement. See, it's right here. Tuesday, 2:14 p.m. I'm just asking because we're saving for that roof repair. Do you remember that? I'm not mad at all. I just want us to be on the same page. They respond, I don't care about the statement. The fact that you're showing me proof like I'm a criminal proves my point. You're obsessed with power. You probably fabricated that whole thing anyway, just to start a fight. Always need to be in control. So controlling. Huh? Now, look at where you are. The goal shifted. You started by asking a simple question, about $500. Now you're crying, maybe sobbing, trying to prove that you are a good, trusting person and not obsessed with power. Oh, the receipt didn't matter. The bank statement is an objective fact. It's real. It's there. But they didn't logic themselves into their anger. That anger is a weapon. They used the anger to evade accountability. Therefore, your logic, the statement that is in your hand, is a useless tool. The kitchen floor, you end up exhausted, wondering if maybe I was too hard on them about the money. But the $500 is never explained, and we just move on. Why is this a red flag? Because in a healthy relationship, a receipt ends the argument. In a narcissistic cycle, a receipt escalates the argument. When you find yourself teaching a grown adult basic reality, how reality works, explaining that words have meaning, or that physical evidence exists, you're no longer having a conversation. You are experiencing a power struggle disguised as a disagreement. Your over-explaining is actually a trauma response. It is your brain's desperate attempt to fix a reality that the other person is intentionally, yes, intentionally breaking. So let's go on to phase 2 here. Phase 2, the word salad or the memory eraser. So now as the cycle progresses, you start to push back. You bring proof, but this is where the word salad comes in. And if anyone has experienced it, you know what this is. You try to discuss fact A, and then they bring up something you did maybe 3 years ago. Fact B, not even related. And before you know it, you're apologizing for fact B, and fact A is completely forgotten. Poof, all gone. How did that happen? Yeah. Imagine you say something like, it hurt my feelings when you stayed out late without calling me. A healthy person says, very simply, I'm sorry, I should have called. A gaslighter says, why are you always so controlling? My mother was right about you. Remember that time you forgot the dry cleaning? You're so hypocritical. What? Notice what happened. In 30 seconds, the conversation moved from your lack of communication to your character flaws. This is a memory eraser. By the time the argument is over, you're so busy defending yourself, your character, that you have completely dropped the original issue. All forgotten, lost in there somewhere. Now, in clinical terms, this leads to a state known as cognitive dissonance. It can happen to all of us. It happens to all of us. When the mental pain of holding two conflicting beliefs, being, I know what I saw, or I know what I experienced, versus, this person loves me and they wouldn't lie to me. Cognitive dissonance. Now, on to phase 3 here. This is the crazy making and flying monkeys phase. So the final stage is when the gaslighter involves others. They might say to your friends or family, oh, this could start early on, by the way, in the relationship. Maybe even at the very beginning. Things such as, oh, I'm really worried about her. She's been so forgetful lately. You know you're not forgetful. This is called triangulation. These people become something known as flying monkeys, just like in The Wizard of Oz. They're recruited, often completely unintentionally, don't even know they're part of this plan here. but they end up supporting the gaslighter's version of reality. So then, when you go to your sister-in-law for her support, she looks at you with pity. And instead of believing you, she says, "Aw, honey, maybe you were just stressed." Now, the gaslighting isn't just coming from one person, it feels like it's coming from the whole world. This leads to self-gaslighting, when you stop being your own witness. And that's when the gaslighter has won. But we are going to flip the script right now. This will stop. How do we break the cycle? We need to move out of our head, because that's got cognitive dissonance happening there, right? And we move into our body. Now, as an EMDR therapist, I tell my clients, your mind can be gaslit, but your nervous system cannot. When someone tells you a lie, your brain might try to rationalize. But notice your body. Pause. Take a moment. Does your heart rate spike? Do you feel a dropping sensation in your stomach? Tightness in your chest? This is your autonomic nervous system signaling a powerful message. It is saying there is a boundary violation happening. It knows a lie is being told, even if your ears are trying to be fair. I want to give you a tool, the Somatic Reality Journal. So what is this? Something you can do. So when an event happens that feels off, something doesn't seem right, but you just don't know what. Don't just write about what was said. Write down where you felt it. Where in your body did you feel it? And what was that feeling? Was it a stomach knot? Write that down. And then say, for example, if it was tied into, he denied saying X. And then my chest felt like it was being squeezed. Later, when you're doubting that memory of yours, don't look at the words. Look at the physical record. Your brain might try to talk you out of the facts, but it can't talk you out of the feeling. That's impossible. The physical vice in your chest is a fact. The knot in your stomach is evidence. The lump in your throat is telling. Now, if you've been gaslit for years, your internal compass might feel broken. This is why standard talk therapy, as wonderful as it is, sometimes isn't enough. You can know logically, intellectually, that you were gaslit, but still feel crazy emotionally. That is why we don't just sit and talk about what he said, she said. We go deeper, much deeper. We talk about the power and how we can take that away from the gaslighter's voice and give it back to our voice through techniques such as hypnotherapy, mindfulness, somatic exercises, EMDR. We're not abandoning ourselves any longer. Now, when you leave a session, the goal is to feel the solid ground beneath you, beneath your feet. You feel your strength. You're grounded, like a solid oak tree, perhaps. You start to realize that you don't need their permission to know what you saw, or what you felt, or what you heard. You reclaim your reality in the process. It starts the moment you decide that your internal experience is a non-negotiable. You don't need their apology to move forward. You have your own eyes and your own gut. That's all you need. Now, if you are located in New Jersey, click the link below to visit New Leaf Psychotherapy, LLC, and see what we have to offer. And please don't forget to subscribe. Click the link below and subscribe. And Barbara Duchnowski. And remember, you aren't losing your mind. You're just finding your strength. I'll see you in the next video.